Good afternoon. Welcome to Jim Munley's World of Weather. Clicked on to long-range weather forecast discussion for November 12th to 26th. For November 12th to the 16th, we're going to look at the, let me see if I have it here. Okay, the teleconnections, and the AO is positive. Forecasts remain generally positive during this time, maybe trend negative. But to see if that happens, because there's a lot of changes that don't agree, and I'll get to that. But it remains generally positive, and that is due to mixed height anomalies across the Arctic. And the AO, if we look at the NAO, is negative. Tide tends positive a little bit, and that's due to mixed height anomalies across Greenland, but later on, I don't know, there's some change that doesn't agree. So we have to see how that goes. Now, the pattern is forecast to remain generally zoned, you can see right here. And we have a ridge here near the Aleutians, trough over the East Pacific. Also have a trough over the Canadian Maritimes to the east of Greenland and to the northeast. And with the above normal heights across a large portion of the country. And this pattern is forecast to be a generally dry one for much of the nation, along with above normal temperatures. And temperatures could exceed 10 degrees across the central states and in the Midwest. Now, the exception to the dry weather will be two areas, would be the Northwest and along the Gulf Coast. Now, we're forecasting an atmospheric river event to occur now. Here comes the first one, bringing rain. We'll look at the GFS, bringing rain and snow to parts of the Northwest and to the Northern Rockies. And then, let me see if we go to the next one. Then another one starts coming in, it's further to the south, but I expect a wet pattern. Now, also along the Gulf Coast, there'll be a stall front across this region. And we have this low here that will back it up a little bit, that will be coming out of Mexico, and this could enhance the rainfall amounts. So we'll look at the rainfall amounts in two areas. First, we'll look at the rainfall amounts for, well, I have them both in the map, but we'll look at the rainfall amounts for the Northwest first, concentrate on that. And you can see we have heavy rainfall. This is 24-hour periods. This is the GFS. And then this is the European. European has a little more precipitation than the European. Now, we look down here across the Gulf Coast, the rain seems heavier here. We have areas approaching, it's hard to believe, looks like 10 inches here. But this is good news because a lot of this area down here, especially Louisiana and parts of the Arctic, are experiencing severe drought. Or extreme drought. So all this rain is welcome. Not so much in the Northwest because they had a little bit, a lot of rain in the past. So this is the rainfall amounts going into next week. Now, okay, we're going to look at the period now for November 17th to the 21st. And the flow remains generally zonal. We have a ridge here near the Aleutians, trough here off the west coast, above normal heights across a large portion of the nation. So heights remain mixed across the Arctic region. Here, below normal, above normal heights. That's due to a positive AO, as I showed you before. So for this forecast period, I'm calling for below normal temperatures here, and I'm calling for anomalies to be near 2 degrees below normal. Above normal temperatures here, anomalies could exceed 10 degrees above normal, generally across this area here. And for precipitation, calling for above normal precipitation here, and for this region, and the probability of occurrence is nearly 40%. Below normal precipitation forecast here, and the probability of occurrence is 35 to 40%. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. This is for the period November 22nd to 26th. And you can see here that strong positive height anomalies occur here near Greenland, even though the NAO turns negative and the AO is positive. So maybe it's not keeping, maybe it's not, the pattern isn't catching up yet to that. But if you look at another thing, this is the height anomalies across Eastern Asia are positive. This would favor a trough in the east. So this doesn't really agree with this, but both the models, to some extent, the European ensembles, not the European, the GFS ensembles has below normal heights here in the east, but weak negative height anomalies. Looks like a broad trough across the country here. Now we'll look at other models. Now this is the experimental learning machine forecast here. It looks like there's a trough here in the middle of the country above normal heights here, and we have a ridge here building over California. Another thing I want to look at here, this is the European ensemble, 51 members, shows above normal temperatures across much of the country. So that kind of goes along with the positive AO and NAO, but it doesn't agree with the predicted height anomalies here across even though we have strong positive height anomalies building here and a ridge here. So that, and above normal heights across much of Canada, but we still have below normal heights near Greenland. So there's a lot to see. Maybe things, the atmosphere isn't getting caught up with, the models aren't getting caught up with the atmosphere or vice versa. But we have to see how this goes. This is a very deep trough here in the west. Still troughiness here in the east. But overall, the trend is for milder month ahead. Okay, so for this forecast period, I'm calling for keeping temperature anomalies the same, because I'm going to go that it's going to be a zone of flow and with above normal heights across the country. But that could change as we go into the next couple of days and maybe even next week. And for precipitation, calling for below normal precipitation here. Probability of occurrence is 35%. Above normal precipitation here. And the probability of occurrence is 35%. Okay, I think the hurricane season might be at an end. We're going to talk about the tropics too. And we have strong wind shear here across much of the Atlantic. And there hasn't been any waves coming off the African coast in the last 2 weeks. But during this time frame, we don't really look for development out there. It could still happen. We usually look at closer to the East Coast, down the Caribbean, but there hasn't been anything going on. And this is a look at the hurricane season so far. This is what we had. And we really didn't have any impacts to land. Just what was it? Arlene and Harold. Direct impacts, because even though like these storms went up to the north, they brought a lot of rain to New England, but we haven't had, which is a good thing, I guess. And nothing really developed in the Gulf, just a few storms. And not really much in the Caribbean also. It mostly came from the Eastern Atlantic, and that has been quiet now, and a lot of shear going on. So that's the long-range weather forecast discussion for November 12th to 26th. Thanks for coming to Jim Munley's World of Weather, and have a good day.